Hey everyone, this is Jaclyn Krymowski from the Hurt Book Ag Media, here to give you your Moving Iron Ag News update as we wrap up this first week in November. In our political news this week, President Joe Biden has restructured the Build Back Better plan to include specific appropriation under Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack's eyes, with sustainable aviation fuel supposedly being the next industry key. This proposal now stands at $1.75 trillion, with $1 billion in funding specifically being dedicated to the biofuels industry. And speaking of government spending in the ag sector, again, the USDA is hoping to change up the internet connection situation, as Secretary Tom Vilsack recently announced that the department is going to invest $1.15 billion specifically for high-speed internet in rural communities. This, of course, is in line with the ongoing issue, as the Federal Communications Commission have said that over 22% of Americans in rural areas and another 30% of Americans who reside on tribal lands still have insufficient, unreliable broadband coverage. And that's very different compared to urban areas, who report just less than 2% of people have significant connection issues. The Reconnect program, coming through the USDA, is going to help focus on all less populated regions of the United States still having internet issues. This initiative is supposed to start on November 24th, where the USDA is going to grant applications from electric cooperatives and other broadband providers who are going to fund projects in rural areas that are specifically focused on increasing internet speeds and just general availability. Communities that are labeled socially vulnerable or tribal communities are going to be especially eligible for full funding through these federal grants. Under the Reconnect program, areas who are qualifying must lack what qualifies as sufficient, which is 100 megabytes per second download and then 20 megabytes for upstream, access to broadband service, and then a handful of other criteria that's being set by the USDA. Vilsack has said that he believes these increased internet speeds in rural areas will also, by extension, improve access to healthcare, education, and the global marketplace. Moving on now to our international news. Nambia has recently suspended imports of live birds and other poultry products from the Netherlands and Germany after new cases of the bird flu, that's H5N1 specifically, have surfaced. An Indian ag tech company is hoping to start a new agri-tech platform that is supposedly going to be a mixture of Amazon, LinkedIn, crop monitoring, and a platform for e-commerce as well, all on a single app. This company just scored over $100 million in Series D funding, which makes it the nation's biggest ever ag tech startup. And this platform is specifically designed to help smallholder farms with input from 850 vendors, agronomists, distributors, and other agribusiness service provider. Right now, the company says they serve 650,000 farmers and over 3,000 micro entrepreneurs. And now in our national news for today. Right now, Bill Company's breakthrough energy ventures, along with some of the famed investor Mark Cuban's companies, say they are going to move $4 million to create their very first carbon-neutral milk brand. They are hoping to do this by using carbon footprint studies across the entire dairy supply chain, which goes as far back as fertilizer and agronomy services all the way through to certain supply chain logistics, so they can help minimize carbon in dairy production. This company, Neutral, has plans to break into even carbon-neutral versions of other foods. They're just starting with dairy, they say, because it is relatively universal. They say that the milk with this neutral certification is going to be hitting store shelves this year, looking at December. Over at West Virginia State University, researchers recently created Stickbug, which is a robot that they say is going to help pollinate various crops in greenhouse environments artificially. This is a device designed to aid our decrease of our current national pollinators. As we come out of the major COVID slump, consumption of a lot of the main commodities, including corn, soy, and even meat, are way up across the board, despite some of the issues that we've had with trade and containers. Soybeans, especially, is one of the most notable ones to be watching right now. And as a result of that, vegetable oil has also skyrocketed. So that means that some of the major agribusinesses have really seeing a significant amount of profit as we roll out the third quarter and go into the fourth. Cargill, for example, reported that their financial year 2021 net income is going to be nearly $5 billion, which would make it their biggest profit in history. All right, that should sum you up for this week. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. This Ag News Update is brought to you by the Herd Book Ag Media, serving all your agribusiness writing, communication, and media needs. Find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or our company website, the-herdbook.com. Let me know you found out about us here in Moving Iron and get 20% off your first invoice.